Okay, Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Sorry for the late start, everybody. Got a little thrown off today, but we're on track now. So I've been thinking about the assignments that I'm giving you guys and the goals that we're trying to accomplish, and I was also thinking a lot about past experience, like because I've taught sarf and I've taught nahu and I've taught these things lots and lots and lots of times, right? And the way I think about teaching is I don't think more about what I have to cover. I think more about different kinds of students. So there are students who, they're like sponges. So once I say it's the family is nasara yansuru nasran fahuwa nasrun nusira yunsaru nasran fahuwa mansur al-amru minhu unsur wa nahyu anhu la tansur wa dharfu minhu mansarun wa mansirun wa mansaratun. And even if I add to that, they will hear that once and then they know it. Right. And then there are students that are like the most of us. They're going to hear that and say, what just happened? And they're going to take a long time before they get comfortable with it. Right. So we started our self-intensive in intensive 3. We got introduced to the families. It took us, a good week to get introduced to the families. And we're now starting to get comfortable with saying those families. And then there's 6 more families. So it could feel like it's a lot of pressure to memorize a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is, instead of expecting you to memorize every day, I'm going to give you guys what to memorize and give a deadline for it. So you can take your time doing that. So you don't feel pressure every day. Oh, I haven't memorized it. You can take your time, slow it down, make your own. If you need to make flashcards, we'll make audio recordings. You can review using that stuff. The goal is for you to know it in a way that you never forget. Right. So if you memorize it just to be able to recite it to me, or to recite it to keep up in class. Where's the remote, by the way? What did I do with it? See if you, there it is. Okay. So if you just do that, you know what? It's going to come and then it's going to disappear again, because you memorized under pressure and with a lot of anxiety. So even if you were able to, say the family to me or say the family to out loud when I'm teaching, a month from now, you won't remember. And that defeats the purpose. There's no reason for you to memorize this if you're not going to hold on to it. So I'd rather go slow and build this up for all of you. Alhamdulillah, you've actually, most of you, if not all of you, have already memorized the 8 larger families. Right? So we can discuss sarf. I can, explain the concepts behind sarf, and over time put less pressure on the memorization and, defer that a little bit. That's not to say that you should get lazy, but I just want you to feel like there's not too much pressure, right? Because inshallah, I don't want the learning to be overwhelming. The learning is actually pretty fun. It might feel like it's a lot of work, but inshallah, you'll see the benefits of it are amazing. Like the way it starts unlocking Quran is pretty cool. And other Arabic studies, even Nahu study, other studies become easier because of the self-study. So what I'm going to talk to you today about is I'm going to introduce to you how the 6 smaller families work. Okay. I'm just going to kind of show you the concept behind them. And the way they work. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so the families we memorized were, aslama, right? So I'll call it af'ala for now. Why? Because fa means first letter, ayn means second letter, lam means last letter. Right? And the a is an extra part of that family. You add that on in the beginning. So af'ala. And then we memorized the allama family. This time I'll call it the fa'ala family. What do I mean by fa'ala family? Fa letter, fa means first letter, shadda on the second letter, fatha on the last letter. You get it? So fa, ayn, lam actually means first, second, last. Right? So the same way, the third family, instead of jahada, I'll call it the fa'ala family. Jahada, fa'ala. So the first letter is jim, then there's an alif, then there's the second letter, and then there's the last letter. You get it? So fa'ala. Then we've got the 2 ta families, tafa'ala and tafa'ala. We did ta'allama and tasa'ala, right? But I'm using fa'ayn lam again. Ta'allama, the ayn was actually the first letter. Ta is part of that family. You got to add an extra ta in the beginning, right? And there's a shadda on, when we did ta'allama, there was a shadda on the lam, and the lam was the second last letter. The official code for the second last letter is the ayn letter. So tafa'ala and tafa'ala. Then there were three families that have the E in the beginning. There was the ifta'ala. We called it the iqtaraba family, right? It's got a, so what does this tell you? This tells you that the first letter's over here. The ta is not part of the three letters. So when you put new three letters in, the ta is still going to be there, right? And the E is still going to be there. So ifta'ala, and then in fa'ala. So in this, for example, if I gave you, so this makes your job a little bit easier. So if I say, right, those are the three letters, right? And I wanted to put them in these families. And I'll put the letters in this line so you can still see them. Okay, you know what that means? Ga is my first letter, Sin is my second letter, and Ra is my last letter. What that means in Arabic code is, this is my Fa, this is my Ain, this is my Lam. Okay, Fa for first, Lam for last, so those are easy. Middle one's always what called what? Ain letter. Okay, so Af'ala will become Aksara. Right? Because I put the first letter, I put Kaf, the second letter, I put Sin, the last letter, but I kept the because that doesn't get replaced. How would I do that for the next one? Fa'ala. If I took good, Kassara. You see that, Maryam? You try to do the third one, Maryam. Fa'ala.
Kassara.
Perfect. Kassara. Ahmed?
Takassara.
Takassara. Good. Then?
Takassara.
Takassara. Very good.
Iq.
No, not iq. It's ik.
Iktasara.
Good. You kept the ta. Iktasara. And then here?
Iksara.
Well, the noon doesn't get replaced. The noon's not my first letter, right? What's my first letter? Fa. So where am I going to replace? Over here. So in is going to stay.
In kasara.
Right. In kasara. And then when I say istaf'ala, what letters am I going to replace? Fa, ain, lam. But what letters are going to stay?
The ta.
Alif, sin, and ta. All three are going to stay. So istaf'ala is going to become istaksara. Istaksara. That's how you put words in these families, right? So even though you memorize different words for them, you memorize aslama, allama, jahada, ta'allama, tasa'ala, iqtaraba, inqalaba, istaghfara. Right? Over time, you're going to get used to saying af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, etc. That even though for some people aslama is easier, for some people fa'ala is easier. The point isn't that you memorized it, which one way or the other. The point is, are you able to replace the letters with the right letters? The replacement is actually the most important thing. Now, we are now coming to these are the 8 big families, right? Now we're coming to the 6 small families. The 6 small families, the crazy thing, you'll always start with the past tense, right? And the crazy thing is 3 of those 6 families start exactly the same way. Fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala. So if I showed you, hey, this word is fa'ala, you would say, hey, that's the same family as the second one, which is the same family as the third one. How are they different? Like they're exactly the same. What do you mean? The crazy thing about the 6 small families is you cannot tell which family they're from until you look at the past tense coupled with the present tense. When you look at them together, then you know which family they're from. So I'll show you this. Fa'ala yaf'ulu, fa'ala yaf'alu, and fa'ala yaf'ilu. Okay? Now, was fa'ala the same every time? That was the past tense was always the same. Right? So if I said, for example, nasara, or I said fataha, or I said daraba, they look exactly the same. Fa'ala. So you would say they're the same family. Not enough. For the big families, you could do that. For the small, what do I mean by small family? It's only 3 letters. No extra stuff, no alifs, no hamzas, no shaddas, no ta'as, no ist, no in, no nothing. Right? Those are called the small families. For the small families, just looking at the past tense is not enough. You got to look at the past tense along with the present tense. And only then can you know which family it belongs to. Now, what is the difference between these 3 present tenses? In first of them, it was U. In the second one, it was A. And in the third one, it was
E.
E. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the most important thing in the 6 small families
Mm-hmm.
is the Ain letter.
Oh, okay.
You see how I colored the Ain letter?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it the Ain letter that's changing?
Yes.
That's the most important letter in the 6 small families. Okay. Now I'm going to highlight the Ain letter in the past tense also, even though it's the same every time, but still. Okay. So if I gave you a word,
Mm-hmm. Kadaba.
kadhaba,
Kadaba.
does that look like any of those 3 in the past tense? Kadhaba, fa'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala. It could be any one of those 3.
Yeah.
Which means its present tense could be any one of those 3 for now. Which one? If it was the first one, what would it be? Yak what? Yak yaf'ulu, so it would be yak.
Yakzubu.
Good. And if it was the second one, it would be
Yakzabu.
yak dhabu. And if it was the third one, let me move back a little so I have space.
Yakzibu.
It would be yak,
Zibu.
right?
Mm-hmm.
One of these is right.
Yeah.
The other 2 are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no way of knowing just from kadhaba.
Mm-hmm.
It's a guessing game.
Yeah.
You held that in really well. You guys slept late again.
No.
No, I went to sleep early.
I got like 9 hours.
So why are you so sleepy?
I don't know. Maybe too much sleep.
This is true because ever since that basketball game, I've been in a coma. I've slept 8 hours and woke up in the middle of the night. And then I said, hey, I'm up. I've slept all day, so I should be up. And then I passed out again.
Yeah.
What happened that day?
I don't
I
know.
don't-
I got a good like 9 hours of sleep.
Ya Allah. Okay. So anyway, by the way, we socially distance except within a very small group, and we have all
Yeah.
been sort of tested out. So we're observing.
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. So okay. So kadhaba,
Mhm.
the past tense looks the same every time.
Yeah.
The present tense, I don't know which one of these is right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it's yakdhibu. I
Mhm.
happen to know that,
Okay.
but I can't tell you that I know that because of a formula or some secret,
Mhm.
or because I made lots of dua and then it finally dawned on me that it's yakdhibu.
Yeah.
You have to learn it one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, your chances of getting it right are 33%.
Yeah.
1 in 3.
Within 3.
1 in 3, right?
Yeah.
That's how am I supposed to get it? Relax. Nobody's telling you to speak Arabic yet. So you don't have to come up with a present tense.
Yeah.
All the present tenses that you have to deal with have already been revealed. It's in the Quran. And it already has the harakas. So you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mhm.
So if this was a class where I was teaching you how to produce Arabic, at least not yet, but if this was the portion we were in, I'd tell you how to produce it.
Mm.
But we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with, I'm looking at the Quran, there's a word, I want to know what family it came from.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Arabs came up with a system.
Okay.
But before we talk about that system, I'm going to give you something else. This is how many families now? 3,
3. Yeah.
right? There's 3 families.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then they got this family. They got 2 of these.
Mm-hmm.
Fa'ila, fa'ila. Are they the same as the first 3 in the past tense?
No.
No, because the first 3, the ayn had a a.
Yeah.
This time the ayn has a what?
Kasra.
Kasra. And there's only 2 of these.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of those, but there's only 2 of these families.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm going to highlight the ayn again.
Mm. So this is 5 families so far.
Yep.
These are the 5 small families.
But there's supposed to be how many small families?
6.
Mm-hmm.
There's that other guy too. Nansuru or Nasara.
Okay. So now, fa'ila.
Mm-hmm.
The Arab said some words that start off with fa'ila are going to look like yaf'alu,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them will look like yaf'ilu. And what?
E.
E.
Oh, it's like the same thing as like the top.
Well, there's a small difference. In the first one, if it's fa'ala, it could be yaf'ulu or yaf'alu
Yeah.
or yaf'ilu. So your chances of getting it right are
33%.
33%.
33.3.
But if you have fa'ila in the beginning, then your chances of getting it right are 50% because there is no yaf'ulu.
Yeah.
When you have fa'ila, then it cannot be yaf'ulu.
Yeah.
So the hardest ones are actually fa'ala because it's like it could be any one of those.
Yeah.
But once it's fa'ila, it's a lot easier. And I'll make it even easier for you. Statistically, this is like 75%, not $75. Yeah, percent. And I don't know why it's backwards, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'll just do percent 75. How about that? Okay. And this one's like 25%.
Okay.
Okay. So 75% chance on top of the 50-50.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make a haram halal grammar bet, then I'm going to go with fa'ila yaf'alu.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I see fa'ila, chances are it's going to be yaf'alu, not yaf'ilu. Okay. So for example, if I hear, you know how we say in salah, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida?
Yeah.
Sami'a. We hear Sami'a, which is like fa'ila,
Oh yeah.
right? Fa'ila, Sami'a. You see that?
Yeah.
So the second letter, which is the ayn letter, had a kasra. So it's from this family. Now, because it's from this family, it could be yasma'u, or it could be yasmi'u, but one of those is correct. Most likely, which one?
At the top one.
Yeah, so you go with yasma'u.
Yes. Now.
Okay? That makes our job easier.
Yeah.
Okay, how many families is that?
That's
5.
5.
That's 5 families. Okay. And then we've got our final family. And our last family is, I'm not going to put a haraka. I want to show this to you. It's all about the ayn, isn't it? Everything else kind of stays the same.
Yeah.
So the first 3 times the ayn was a, and a. The next 2 times the ayn was a, I. You want to guess what the ayn is going to be this time?
Ula.
Yeah. Fa'ula.
Yeah.
Okay. And because this is a 6th family, there is no multiple possibilities. There's only one possibility, and it's yaf'ulu. So if you see yaf'ulu,
Yeah.
or if you see fa'ula rather,
Yeah.
then it can only be this last family.
Yeah. This
This
guy's
one,
simple. I
this
like
this guy's simple.
Mhm.
This guy's simple. Okay, these are your 6 families to start off with. We didn't even do. We do aslama yuslimu islaman fahuwa musliman. We do past tense, present tense, masdar, ism fa'il. We do the whole song, right?
Yeah.
But we're not doing the whole song yet. We're just doing madi, the past tense, and mudari, the present tense. These are your 6 small family variations. Okay. Now we're going to give them names, and these names, the first ones I invented, like aslama, jahada, allama.
Oh.
I invented those. Officially they say af'ala, fa'ala, fa'ala, etc. Okay.
Okay.
But my problem with that was people end up saying fa'ala, so then it's just so I separated the words.
Okay.
Okay. But for these, it's actually they developed a system by which they gave each family a name. They call this the Nasara family. Why? Because it's Nasara what? Huwa Nasara and Huwa Yansuru. This one you memorized, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this first one, if it's the a in the past tense and u in the present tense, that would be called the Nasara family.
Nasara family.
Okay. So if I say in the Quran, for example, if I say Shakara, this is a word in the Quran. Shakara. Does that match Nasara? But just because it matches Nasara, it could still be this one, or this one, right? So Shakara, but then you find out that the present tense is Yashkuru. That's a match with Nasara, Yansuru. So the Arab will say, well, Shakara is from the Nasara family. Shakara is from the Nasara family. Okay. And in Edward Lane's dictionary and other dictionaries, they'll just put like Shakara Yashkuru, and they'll put a noon there. And what are they telling you by that noon? They won't even say Yashkuru. They'll just say Shakara, and they'll put noon. And what's the dictionary trying to tell you?
Nasara family.
Yeah, so they won't have to write the present tense because you know Yansuru. You already know it's going to be Yashkuru, so you don't have to know the present tense.
Yeah.
You already know it because of the noon code.
Yeah. Okay.
Get it? So that kind of became their shortcut for the Nasara family, the Noon, or Nasara Yansuru. Okay. The second one, Fa'ala Yaf'alu, they call it the Fataha Yaftahu. Fataha Yaftahu family. Okay. Fataha means he opened. Yaftahu means he opens.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that they chose this this family because this sounds like Fatha.
Yeah.
And the Ain has Fatha twice.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Right? So Fataha Yaftahu.
Yeah.
Okay. Nasara Yansuru, Fataha Yaftahu. And then Daraba means Daraba means to hit. He hit.
Oh.
Yadribu means he hits.
Yadribu. Daraba yadribu.
Daraba Yadribu. Notice that what happened to the Ra? It got an E sound.
Yeah, I got a kasra.
Right? So when you see a word that has like Nasara, Fataha, Daraba, right? If you see a word like that, it could be from the Nasara family.
Yeah.
It could be from the Fataha family. It could be from the
Daraba.
Daraba family. We don't know. We don't know enough. Okay? And then Fa'ila, it's actually the word you say in Salah. They call it the Sami'a family. Sami'a Yasma'u, he hears. So Sami'a, he heard. Yasma'u, he hears. Okay?
Yeah.
Sami'a Yasma'u. And then Fa'ila, Yaf'ilu, which is rarer, it's not very common at all, is Hasiba Yahsibu.
Yeah. Sibu.
Hasiba Yahsibu. Notice what I'm doing. E and E. So E and E.
Yeah.
Right? And then finally, the last family is called Karuma Yakrumu. Yakrumu. So what's the code going to be for the Nasara Yansuru family? Noon.
Noon.
Right? What's the code they use for Fataha Yaftahu?
Fa.
Yep. Maryam, what's the code they use for Daraba Yadribu?
Da.
Yeah, Dad. Sami'a Yasma'u?
Sin.
Sin. Hasiba Yahsibu?
Ha.
Ha. And Karuma Yakrumu?
Kaf.
Kaf.
I said it for you.
Okay?
Later.
And you know, the Europeans who tried to make all these dictionaries of Arabic, they call all of this family one. They come up with a code calling it family one. But I don't care about that. What I care about is this is the Nasara family, this is the Fataha family, Daraba family, Hasiba, Sami'a, Hasiba, Karuma. Now, I want to show you this another way. We're talking only about the Ain letter. Okay? What does the Ain letter mean?
The Ain letter means Allama.
No, the Ain letter means the middle letter.
Oh, it's middle letter.
Ain letter always means
Middle.
letter. How many letters are there? Basically,
3.
3 root letters. The middle root letter is called the Ain letter.
Yeah.
So about the Ain letter. And I'm going to show you something that happens from past to when you convert something from past to present, right? Just look at the sounds. If it has an U sound in the beginning, or sorry, if it has an A sound in the beginning, like Nasara, Daraba, and Fataha, they have the A sound in the beginning, then the present tense could be U, or A, or E. If it is an U sound in the beginning, or sorry, an E sound, Sami'a, right? Then it's either A or E. So if it's Sami'a or Hasiba, the present tense can only be Yasma'u A or Yahsibu, which is E. So if you get an E in the past tense, you only get A and E in the present tense.
Okay.
And then if you have an U, which was Karuma, then that only gives you U. So I gave you 3 possibilities, which is the hardest work, because you got to guess 1 out of 3. E lessens your work. U is 100%. The 8 families you memorized before, every time you know the past tense, you don't have to guess what the present tense is going to be. It's automatic. Aslama is always going to be what? Yuslimu. Aslama, allama will always be yu'allimu. They're guaranteed. These guys are not so guaranteed. That's why that's what makes them harder. Okay, but these are the names of your next 6 families. Nasara yansuru, Fataha yaftahu, Daraba yadribu, Sami'a yasma'u, Hasiba yahsibu, Karuma yakrumu. Okay. Now, What do we do after aslama yuslimu? What's the next thing we do?
Aslama yuslimu islaman.
Right, islaman.
Isn't that the mustard?
That's the mustard, which is the idea, right? So nasara, he helped. Yansuru, he helps. Nusran or nasran or nusratan, there's lots of words. They can also mean help. Now, the problem is the Arabs, thousands of years ago, decided that some of these words have one mastar. Some of these have two masters. Some of these have 5 masters. Some of these have 8 masters. Some of these have masters on top of masters. Some of these have ketchup and mustard. They have so many masters for the same word.
Yeah.
Okay, so first let me put this to the test. This is a mental test, not a memorization test. This should be not that hard. Okay, I'm gonna put a word here, and you tell me which family it belongs to. I'll put it over here at the bottom. All 6.
Okay.
You pick which one it is. Read it carefully.
I was gonna crack like a little joke about the fa'ala yaf'alu fa'ala
Oh,
yaf'alu.
you have to wish.
Well, khasira yakhsaru. What do you guys think?
Khasira yakhsaru.
Yeah, which of these 6 is it?
Fa'ila, yaf'alu.
Which is, what's the code for it?
Wait, no, hold on. It is the Sin family.
Yep, sami'a. We call it sami'a.
Yeah, Sami'a.
Okay, khasira is sami'a,
Yeah.
but just matching khasira to sami'a wasn't enough. Because just because it's a like khasira, we have to also look at the present tense, because the present tense could have been yasma'u, or it could have been like sibu. This one is more like yasma'u. That's why it's the sami'a family.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I said this?
Abuda.
What family is that?
That is.
Abuda. What are your thoughts, everybody? Karuma. Good.
Karuma?
Why? I didn't even put a present tense.
I didn't even see.
I didn't even put a present tense. I just said abuda, right? Well, abuda has a u sound in the middle.
Yeah.
It can't be fa'ala, it can't be nasara, can't be fataha, can't be daraba, can't be sami'a, can't be hasiba. It has to be karuma. Karuma. So that's how it matched. Okay. Now this is going to be tricky because you have to work backwards. Okay. This one's going to be
I didn't see the kaf. I forgot about that.
the mic blocks review. Okay. Yab'udu. Yab'udu. Did I give you a past tense or a present tense this time?
Present tense.
Okay. So I'm going to look at the present tense and try to find which matches present and past together. Okay. So first of all, which present tenses that you see of the
It's
6?
Nasara family.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Let's see. Well, you said Nasara because Yansuru looks like Yab'udu. But is that the only one that looks exactly like that?
No.
What else looks like that?
Rumu. The kaf
What do
family.
you Karuma looks like that too. So when I looked at Yab'udu, I'm like, maybe the answer is Yansuru. So it's Nasara Yansuru family. But maybe the answer is Yakrumu, Karuma, Yakrumu family. My chances of getting it right are what percent? 50%.
Yeah.
Okay, 50-50. So when you see a present tense, it's sometimes also a 50-50. What am I going to do? Okay, this one actually happens to be the Karuma family. So the past tense is ba'uda yab'udu. Ba'uda yab'udu. Again, I didn't look that, I didn't like divine that. I didn't get that from dua or something. There's no secret formula. I had to learn that. I had to learn that by making lots of mistakes. And then I learned that. But what you're going to do when we study Quran and we come to 6 words that are from the 6 small families, I'll just say, hey, by the way, this is Nasara family. That's Daraba family. That's this family. That's all I will say. Like the word will be a present tense. And I'll say, this is Daraba family. And I expect you to come up with the past tense, the present tense, look up. I'll teach you how to look up the masdar, the ism fa'il, the ism maf'ul. All that stuff we'll train ourselves in. But the thing is, I don't have to go out of my way to explain the whole thing. I just say this is like daraba, this is like nasara, and that's enough for you. Then you can take the rest. You know what to do from there. Just like if I say this is aslama family, you know what to do from there. You can know how to produce the rest of the stuff, right? So now let's try this a little bit again. If I say we say Iyaka na'budu, right? Iyaka
No.
na'budu. Now the noon beginning means we, right?
Yeah.
So to match it, let's take it back to the he. Ya'budu.
Yeah. Budu.
Ya'budu.
It could be the Karama family.
The Karuma family.
Oh, Karuma, sorry.
Mhm.
And then the Nasara family.
It could be because the present tense matches Karuma yakrumu, and it also matches Nasara yansuru. You don't know this, I do. This happens to be from the Nasara family.
Yeah.
And this also happens to have a meaning in the Karuma family, and they mean two different things. So in Arabic, you have, it's pretty cool, you can have the same root letters. So you have, the Arabs have abada, ya'budu, and they have abuda, ya'budu. So one of them is from the Nasara family, and the other's from the Karuma family, but they're the same letters, right? They mean two different things in the dictionary.
Okay.
That's crazy. You got to know which family the person's talking about, what they're referring to, and there'll be other clues that give away which family. Because ya'budu and ya'budu look the same, right? So if you see in the Quran ya'budu, you're like, is this abada or is this abuda? There'll be other clues that will give it away. When you learn more, you'll see that. But let me tell you, abada ya'budu means to worship. Abada ya'budu means to worship. And abuda ya'budu means to be a slave. Abuda, he became a slave. Okay, so one is he worshipped, and the other is he became a slave. Okay, so there are two different meanings. So if a person was captured and enslaved by an invading king or something, then you won't say abada, he will say abuda, like he became a slave. He was turned into a slave, right? So very different, very, very different when it comes to the meanings. But so families matter. So similarly, you have, this is an interesting one. You have in Arabic hasiba, yahsabu, and hasiba, yahsibu. Now, this is a little bit tricky. Hasiba yahsabu, past tense, present tense, and hasiba yahsibu. Now try to match the families. Well, one's literally hasiba yahsibu, this one. Right? But what family is this one? Hasiba yahsabu. E and then a.
Oh, that's comes from the Sin family.
Sami'a.
Yeah.
Sami'a. Yes. Is that an oh yeah, or you actually get it?
I get it.
That's a real yeah, right?
I get
Okay.
it.
Okay. We need to have a code for when it's a real yeah.
Yeah.
And not I want to get out of this situation. Yeah. You're doing great. Both of you are doing fantastic. Okay. Hasiba yahsabu, hasiba yahsibu. Now, what's cool in Arabic is hasiba yahsabu means he assumed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When you assume something, do you know it for sure?
Nah, you're like
No.
50-50 on it.
Kind of 50-50, right? So he assumed. Hasiba yahsibu means he calculated.
Calculated.
And the calculating is kind of sort of, or is that exact? Is it accurate?
It's kind of sort of.
No, not maybe your calculations. But calculations are supposed to be what?
Exact.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So one's assumption, one's accurate. Okay. So it's so cool that in Arabic, depending on the family, the meaning will have a different impact. And you got to pay real close attention to what family is being used in a word Allah used. And you know what's tragic is sometimes people are translating words in the Quran. The translation is from a different family, and the word Allah used is from a different family. But to say, but the root meaning is that, yeah, but you don't know the family, bro. Like you're like violating the family. And then they mistranslate, and then they interpret on top of that, I'll come up with an entire theory based on their lack of knowledge of the families. And then you don't even know where to begin, like, oh my God. Oh God.
Yeah.
You know, and they've written an entire article, and people are saying, MashaAllah, Sheikh. What an article. I was like, seriously. Sarf, dude. Just sarf, okay?
Sarf it, man.
Yeah, before you write articles and start contemplating the word of Allah Azza wa Jal, it's great you're contemplating the word of Allah. How about you contemplate Arabic a little bit more?
Yeah.
Heesh. Before you kind of go into contemplation mode and start coming up with conclusions based on the Arabic that don't exist. Okay? So that stuff irks me. Like, I don't normally criticize people that say weird things about Islam or whatever. So I was like, yeah, don't say what you know. But when they start making stuff up about the Arabic of the Quran, I'm like,
Flip the table over.
how many families are there?
There are
14.
6.
There are 14.
Yeah.
The 6 small ones are Nasara, Fataha, Daraba, Sami'a, Hasiba, Karuma.
Karuma, yeah.
I expect you to know these 6.
Okay.
Okay? But we're going to start building them a little bit.
Okay.
Nasara yansuru. Now, the next word is supposed to be the masdar, right? Let me erase these codes. You guys doing okay so far? What I've explained so far?
Me too.
Sir.
I'm not seeing any outstanding questions.
Okay, good. It's not, see, the thing is, sarf can seem like it's too much or whatever. When you break it up into little pieces, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's really not. So, Nasara yansuru, we'll use one of the masdars, nusratan. Nusratan. Fataha yaftahu, fathan. Fathan, sorry. Fathan.
Is there more?
Yeah, there's like 6 masdars. There can be. And we don't really care right now because the process of looking up a masdar is something else. We don't memorize the masdars in this case.
Oh, okay.
You memorize them basically one at a time.
Oh, okay.
You don't memorize Islaman, then if'alan, and iqraban, and i'laman, and ikhbaran. No. Each are the same. Each are different. So there's no, if it's nasara yansuru nusratan, so it's going to be shakara yashkuru shukratan. It's not going to be like that. In fact, shakara yashkuru, just to make that clearer, shakara yashkuru is from the nasara family. You could see that?
Yeah.
Because it's in the beginning and then nasara yansuru, shakara yashkuru, and the masdar is shukran.
Oh, like thank you?
Yeah. Thanks itself, right? But it's not like nusratan, right? It's different.
Yeah.
Or abada ya'budu is from this family.
Yeah.
And it's ibadatan. Totally different.
Yeah.
Right? So I can't guess the masdar. I have to look up the masdar. And again, that'll be something I teach you later. Okay? So first let's add the masdars. Nasara yansuru nusratan, fataha yaftahu fathan, daraba yadribu darban.
Kasra, I see.
Kasra?
Oh, not a kasra.
A tanween?
No, not tanween.
The sukoon?
Yeah, sukoon.
Yeah, but don't imagine that's always going to happen.
Yeah.
It just happened to be the case, but that's not a rule. Sami'a yasma'u. You can say sam'an, but I'll use a different one. Sama'atan. Okay. Hasiba yahsibu hisaban. And actually, let's use husbanan. And then karuma yakrumu karamatan. So they're different, and there's the other ones too.
Yeah.
So when you look this up in a book somewhere, you might find different masdars too.
Yeah.
But when you actually go on to like the actual dictionary, you'll see a list of all the masdars.
Yeah.
I like for each one of these. Okay. Now then we get the fahuwa, right?
Yeah.
Fahuwa, and then this one, fahuwa, and this one, fahuwa. Well, that one came out different. Then fahuwa, and then fahuwa. What comes after the fahuwa? What comes is the ism fa'il.
Yeah.
The ism fa'il. Aslama yuslimu islaman fahuwa muslimun. Now, for the 8 families, the ism fa'il used to have the mu on it.
Yeah.
Okay, it has to have what?
A mu.
Mu on it. These guys never have a mu. Never. Their ism fa'il is literally the word, it rhymes with the word fa'ilun.
Oh, yeah.
Now, fa'il is important to remember because fa means what? First letter?
Yeah.
Ain means what?
Second
letter. Lam means what?
Last
letter. So if the words are nasara, then what does the fa'il become?
Nasara.
Fa'ilun becomes?
Nasirun.
Excellent, Maryam. Precisely. Fahuwa nasirun.
Yeah.
Fataha yaftahu fathan fahuwa. Same exact formula. Fa'ilun.
Wait, can you explain this again?
I can. Fatihun. What I'm saying is for all 5 of these 6 families, the word is fa'ilun.
Yeah.
So you just gotta take fa'il means fa means what? First letter.
Yeah.
The alif is added.
Mm-hmm.
Then ain means what? Second letter.
Second letter.
And lam means what? Last letter. So daraba, what's the fa letter? Dad.
Dad.
What's the ain letter? Ra.
Ra.
And what's the lam letter? Ba.
Ba.
So Ahmed tried to make fa'il with daraba.
Dariban.
That's it.
Oh, okay.
Now listen to this. Nasara, he helped. Yansuru, he helps. Nusratan, to help.
Mm-hmm.
Fahuwa nasirun, so he's a helper.
Helper. Yeah.
Nasir is a helper.
Mm-hmm.
Fataha, he opened.
Mm-hmm.
Yaftahu, he opens. Fathan, an opening or to open. Fahuwa fatihun, he's an opener.
Mm-hmm.
Daraba, he hit. Yadribu, he hits. Darban, a hit or to hit.
Yeah.
Fahuwa daribun, he's a hitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Sami'a, he heard.
Sami'un.
Fahuwa sami'un, he's a hearer.
Here.
Okay. He's a calculator.
Oh, is
How's he a calculator?
Hasibun.
Yes. Hasibun.
One.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
And
this family would be crazy.
Mm.
They don't like fa'il.
Oh, okay.
So you never get fa'ilun from karuma.
Terrible. Okay.
You never get what?
Fa'ilun.
Fa'ilun. This is the only family that wants fa'ilun.
Fa'ilun.
They don't want fa'il, they want.
Fa'ilun.
So what do they want? They want the first letter. They want the second letter. Then they want a ya.
Karimun.
There you go.
Like Kareem.
Yeah, like Kareem.
Yeah.
Like so many names, Muslim names, Sharif, Kareem, Aziz,
Oh yeah.
You know,
I have an uncle
Shafiq.
named Aziz.
Rahim, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those names are fa'ilun.
Yeah.
Karuma yakrumu karamatan fahuwa karimun. Okay.
Mhm.
So everybody else is fa'il, and the last one is what? Fa'il.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only one.
Mm.
Okay. Now, passive.
This is more easier because like the way you explained it to us
Okay.
seems a bit more easier.
Alhamdulillah, I feel better about myself. I'm gonna cry in the mirror. You did it! You did it! A child said Sarf is easier. Okay, I'm okay. Okay. No, I'm not! Okay. Okay, let's go to Nasra Yansuru. Nasra. Now the second line.
Mhm.
The second line is always the same. The passive is u, I, a.
Mm.
So what do I do with Nasara?
Nusira.
Yeah. Nu, si, ra. What am I going to do with... I'm going to erase these now. What am I going to do with Fataha second line?
Fataha, Futiha.
Yeah. Futiha. Good. Wow, you give him a look because you got it
Duriba.
first. I saw that look. The look of,
Duriba.
I crushed you this time and you will remember this.
Duriba.
The day you get married, I will remind you when I said
I will.
Futiha and you didn't. What's the matter? Futiha? Huh? Got slow?
I'll play this for him.
Yeah. Take that clip out and hopefully got recorded when you gave him that look. Like, so you can just put that as a GIF. Like, Futiha, Futiha,
Yeah.
Futiha.
Duriba.
Ooh, now he's ready. Duriba. Doraba became Duriba.
Mhm.
Maryam, Sami'a. You sound different today, Maryam. You sound like Ahmed today. I don't know what happened. What did you
Sumia.
read? Huh?
Sumia.
Sumia. Good.
Like Sumi.
Hasiba will become.
Wait,
Hasiba will not become
oh,
fluid.
I
I don't
said
know.
Husiba.
Pretty-
Oh, sorry. No,
Husiba.
that's on the bottom, yeah. Husiba.
Husiba. And
Uh,
Karuma will become.
Kurima.
It will not.
Kurima.
It doesn't have a passive line.
Oh.
Ha.
So there's two families
Uh-huh.
that don't have the passive line.
Yeah.
What two families?
Inqalaban.
Inqaluba and Karuma.
Yeah.
Inqalaba and Karuma do not have a passive line,
Yeah.
which is important in Arabic studies, not just because you have less work, but that actually impacts the meanings
Oh.
and the interpretation. So, yeah, thank God, yes. Okay. So, Nasara became what? Nusira.
Nusira.
Okay, now the present tense. You remember what happened with the present tense in the second line for all of them? Aslama yuslimu islaman fa musliman. Uslima, and then what was the second word?
Yuslimu.
No, it wasn't. No,
Yuslamu.
that's right. Wow,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
two in a row now. Yuslamu.
Yeah, Islamu.
U'allima yu'allamu.
يعلم.
Juhida yujahadu. Tu'allima yuta'allamu. Tusu'ila yutasa'alu. Uqturiba yuqtarabu. And then ustughfira yustaghfaru, meaning u a u.
Mhm.
U a u. That was the pattern. I saw that wink.
Yeah.
Oh,
Points off.
it's just like yeah, it's like basketball. We should do like basketball. Trash talk should be points off.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so u a and u. So
Mhm.
yansuru,
Yeah.
Maryam without interference from Ahmed.
Mhm.
Yansuru will become what? Crickets.
ينسر.
Close, but we want the passive should be u.
ينسر.
Yes. Yun saru. Give me the next one too, Maryam. Fataha will become.
Yun.
No, it's fataha.
Wait, what?
This
Oh,
word.
I said yun. I thought that was a noon for a moment.
Right. That
Um,
moment's over.
yuf.
Yes.
Yuftahu.
Yuftahu.
My turn.
No, one more for you.
Yun. Iribu.
Yun, because
Oh,
daraba has a noon. You thought that was a noon for a moment too? You're having a lot of noon moments.
Yud. Or no,
Yes.
yeah, Yud Ribu.
Yudrabu.
Yudrabu.
Yudrabu, Maryam. U and a. U and a. You and a. You. And that's been all 8 families. And that's always been the problem. So look at the observations in the notes. Did you print those out from
Mhm.
yesterday? The
Yeah.
chart?
Oh, the chart. I have the chart. Like, is it this chart?
No.
That's not a chart.
You guys didn't print it. You better print it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Because I didn't see
Because
it.
your mistakes are because you're not visualizing the wrong pieces, and I need you to get that. So this can never be yunsiru; it can only be yunsaru, yuftahu, yudrabu. Ahmed, yasma'u will become
Yusma'u.
good. Yusma'u. That's an ugly font. I don't like that. Sumi'a, yusma'u. Hasiba or husiba rather.
Sabu.
Good. And last one, karuma.
Karuma.
Yakrumu will be.
Oh, it doesn't have a second line.
Doesn't have a second line. Good.
Yeah,
Almost got you. Almost
Yeah.
got you. Almost. Okay, masdar. Nusira yunsaru what?
Nusratan.
Yeah, doesn't change.
Yeah.
Fahuwa and then futiha yuftahu fathan. Fahuwa and daraba yadribu duriba yudrabu darban. Fahuwa and then sumi'a yusma'u sama'atan. Fahuwa and then husbanan. Fahuwa and then that one we don't need,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so we're in the second line now.
Yeah.
The second line always sounds like this. Maf'ulun. Now let me make that bigger and show this to you so you can think about it clearly. When I say maf'ulun, what's my first letter?
Ma.
No,
Oh,
ma is not my first letter. For people who don't know sarf, mim was the first letter. For people who know sarf, mim was not the first letter. What was the first letter?
The line.
No.
Safa.
Guessing game?
No.
No, I don't accept a guessing game. Now you're going to tell me why phi is the first letter.
Because the meme, right? That's the letter that doesn't change.
No, that's not a good. Nope.
uh,
When I say a word with the fa, ain, and lam,
Mhm.
the fa will always be considered the first letter.
Yeah.
The ain will always be considered the
Second.
second letter, and the lam will always be considered the
Last
last letter. Even though it looks like meme is letter number 1, fa is letter number 2, ain is letter number 3, waw is letter number 4, and lam is letter number 5.
Yeah.
No, that's for people who don't know sarf. For people who know sarf, in maf'ul, the first letter is the fa letter,
Yeah.
the second letter is the ain letter, the last letter is the lam letter. Why is that important? Because you're going to replace first letter with this first letter, ain letter with this second letter, and lam letter with that letter. If you don't know that, then you won't know what to replace, and you're going to start, making a maf'ul out of yourself.
That was a
Okay.
joke, yeah.
So how do I take nasara and make a maf'ul? Maryam, don't help
Okay.
and don't mess up.
Okay.
So
The
should I replace the ma or is the ma going to stay?
ma will be gone.
No, it won't be gone.
Oh,
The only things that are gone The fa will be gone and will be taken up by the first letter. The ain will be gone, taken up by the second letter. The lam will be gone, taken up by the third letter. That's why they're called the fa, ain, lam. Fa, replace me first. Ain, replace me second. Lam, replace me last.
Yeah.
So, what are the three letters? Nasara, right?
Yeah.
Nun, Sad, and Ra. So, the first letter is what?
Noon.
So, yes.
Mansurun.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
But you're not done. Because you got scraped by that one. It should get easier now. Fahuwa. It should sound just like Mansur.
فهو مفتوح.
Yes. Fahuwa.
فهو مضروب.
Madrubun. Fahuwa.
فهو
Good.
مسموع.
Good.
فهو
Nope.
أو
The ma stays.
I said
Good.
محبوب. محسوب.
Mahsubun.
Oh, there's none.
Okay.
I tried to.
Okay. Let's translate so far. Mansur got a little big.
Yeah.
Let me make all of them bigger so you guys can, those of you that are watching on the screen, have something bigger to look at. Okay. Nasara, he helped. Yansuru, he helps. Nusratan, to help. Fahuwa nasirun, so he is a helper.
Yeah.
Nusira, he was helped. Yunsaru, he is what? Being helped.
Being helped, yeah.
This is passive, so he was helped. He's being helped. Nusratan, to help. Fahuwa mansurun, then he's a person who's being helped.
Okay.
The person being helped would be Mansur.
Mansurun.
So if I was helping you, I would be the Nasir, you would be the Mansur. Okay? Fataha, he opened.
Yeah.
Yaftahu, he opens. Fathan, to open.
Yeah.
Fahuwa fatihun, so he's an opener.
Yeah.
Futiha, it was opened. Yuftahu, it is being opened. Fathan,
Opener.
to open.
Okay.
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 Fahuwa maftuhun, then the thing that's been opened.
Okay.
The opened thing.
The open thing.
If the door was opened, I would say al-bab maftuh. The door is opened.
Bab maftuh.
Yeah. Daraba, he hit. Yadribu, he hits. Darban, to hit. Fahuwa daribun, so he is a hitter. Remember the ism fa'il is always the
Yeah.
So this was helper. This was opener. This is a hitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Duriba, he was hit. Yudrabu, he's being hit. Darban, to hit. Fahuwa madrubun, then he's the hated one.
He's the hated one.
He's the guy who got hit.
Yeah.
So if I was beating you up, or if you were beating me up, you'd be the darib.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting hit, I'd be the madrub.
Madrub, yeah.
Madrub, yeah. Sami'a, he heard. Yasma'u, he hears. Sama'atan, to hear. Fahuwa sami'un, he's a hearer. Sumi'a, it was heard, or he was heard. He was heard. Yusma'u, he's being heard. Sama'atan, to hear. Fahuwa masmu'un, then he's a person who's heard. The person who gets heard, or the thing that gets heard, is called masmu'. Hasiba, he calculated.
ER. So what's it?
No, the ER is the first ones.
Oh.
Samia, hearer.
Okay.
This is the heard one. This is the hit one, the one hit.
Okay.
And then this is the one opened.
Okay.
And this is the one helped. So the the doer, and the done to.
Okay.
Hasiba, he calculated. Yahsibu, he calculates. Husbanan, calculation, or to calculate. Fahuwa hasibun, so he is a calculator. Husiba, it was calculated.
Yeah.
Yuhsabu, it's being calculated. Husbanan, calculation, or to calculate. Fahuwa mahsubun, it is the thing that's being calculated. Karuma, he was honored. Karuma, what does it mean?
Honored.
He was honored. Now, when you say he was honored, it sounds almost passive, as if he's the done to. And that's the crazy thing about the Inqalaba family and the Karuma family. They are so intransitive that in meaning, they almost sound like they're passive, which is why it doesn't make sense to make passives out of them anyway. So, Karuma, to be honored. Yakrumu, he's being honored. or he's gracious. Karuma, he was gracious, and yakrumu, he is gracious. Karamatan, grace itself, or to be to honor. Fahuwa karimun, then he's honorable.
Yeah.
He's what?
Honorable.
I didn't say honorer this time. I said what? Honorable. So this becomes kind of like an adjective. The Karuma family, it creates an adjective as opposed to a doer per person. Okay, now you take your break. Go.
Break.
Before your brain collapses.
Okay.
Jawad, you can take over questions for a little bit. I'm going to put it on pause.
Can I please write the translation, Nazia? The PDF that's on the site right now for self families will be updated with all of these in it, and the translations will be included. Inshallah. It's not on the website yet, no. I still have to edit it. It's going to be the same PDF that you guys have already been using. It's called Soft Families. I'm just going to update it, inshallah. Yeah, Asaka, a lot of these family one, small family fi'ls or families, they're going to have more than one masdar. So Ustadh is providing one of them, but more than one exists. The chart from yesterday is uploaded, Asia. It's called, what did I call it? It's called Full Sarf Breakdown. It's on the website. Who is that? Maftuna. Anything that Ustad teaches you, you should learn it by heart because you're learning a language and you're not going to have your notes on hand most of the time when you're speaking it or when you're trying to understand it. So anything related to the class, you should know by heart. No, Cavs Hub, not every word, but every word that we're concerned with so far. Umrah Sheikh, I don't understand the question. Please clarify. Theoretically, SJ, you can take any root and plug it into any of the 14 families. Practically, no. Certain roots will only be used with certain forms. But again, like you could, just for practice, you could take any root and put it into all 14. They won't always be used like that. How many days do you have left? Well, today's day 3 out of 10, so 7. Who was that? Amigo, refresh your page. Refresh the page. Because there have been after Surah Munafiqun, there have been 2 new documents added. They're not added to the PDF yet. We're learning them right now, so I haven't had a chance to add them yet. Inshallah, they'll be added today. Umrah Sheikh, maf'ul is not a fi'l, so it doesn't have tense. So your question is framed incorrectly. You can't ask what tense does Mansur have because it's not a fi'l. It doesn't have any tense. It's just someone who is helped. No, I don't have any access to the document Ustad uses, so I can't make it bigger or smaller or any of that, unfortunately. Screen Ajr, that's correct. The Inqalaba and Karuma families are intransitive by default, so there is no passive. How will you identify them? Well, that's what we just spent the last almost hour going over. You have to memorize the present tense and the past tense. And once you have those two together, that's how you'll recognize them. Cavs Hub, there's really nothing to go over. It's just that there are multiple mustars. That's it. That's the whole concept. Multiple of them exist. If you look up the word in the dictionary, you'll see it'll list them out for you. On which email can you email? Arabic@bayyinah.com for Arabic questions. Yes, Umrah, that's correct. For a word that's maf'ul, I can, depending on how I'm using it, it can be in past tense or present tense. So, for example, in English, if Mansur means someone who is helped, I can say the person who was helped went to the store, past tense, or the person who was helped is going to the store, present tense. Just like how I can use helper, past and present, I can use the person who was helped, past and present as well. Maliki is an ism, yes, that's correct. In Surah Fatiha, Maliki is an ism. Maha, you can get them from the dictionary, which we haven't learned how to use yet, but if you already know how to use it, then that's great. You can look them up. Masdar in English is idea. So if we're saying nasara means he helped and yansuru means he helps, then nasran is help, like the idea of helping, right? Help. How much time are you going to get to memorize the new families? I'm not quite sure how to answer that. Just try to get it done as soon as possible. That's always a good plan of action. Can the comment section on this video be switched on? Is it off? I don't think it's off. It's just streaming right now, so the comments are all going to the live stream, but once it's uploaded, you should be able to comment. How to avoid getting mixed up. Don't memorize more than one at a time, meaning in one sitting, right? So sit down and memorize Nasara Yansuru. And don't do Karuma Yakrumu at the same time. Do Nasara Yansuru, get all the way through it, beginning to end. Make sure that you know it well. And then, find another time to sit down and do Karuma Yakrumu and do them all at separate times. And then once you have them memorized, make sure you review them a lot. If you do all 14 families, if you go over all of them beginning to end, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes once you get it really, really well. So just take 5-10 minutes every day and review beginning to end all the families.
This, for like
Not memorized, but just be able to say.
Yeah, I can say a decent amount of it, like 50-50.
Yeah? Okay. I'll test that eventually.
I should have.
Joel, how did QA go?
It went pretty well. There's a lot of people complaining about your typo in the passive of Husiba. Husiba yuhsabu hasbanan.
Man, people got bad eyesight or something.
Also, there's a question on how to prevent, like when you memorize, mixing up the families.
Just do one family per year. When you get really good with that family, move on to the next family. Don't try to do everything at once. I said slow down, take pressure off. I'm not expecting you to know this tomorrow. I've introduced you, and you could just take a day or two and just do Nasara Yansuru and don't worry about anything else. And then do the next one, and then do the next one. Like just do one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
The more you break things up, the less confusing they become with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's really just what it boils down to. Okay. So Jawad, were you able to put up the chart for the scheme of all the families?
Yeah, it's up.
The 8 families? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's just kind of get and the 4 items on the agenda for our self-intensive. Let's go through that again. What were they? There's 4 items. We said, how do I know if it's an ism, fi'l, or harf? We did quite a bit of that, right?
Yeah.
And then what else was there in that order? I
Okay.
want to just see if I can commit to that order.
I think I got the process down, Ustad.
I saw that. I saw that you have the process down.
Yeah, I will.
When you pull that up, just interrupt me. Okay. Okay, so it's time I start telling you a little bit about how recognition works. So recognition means what we memorized, how are we going to put it to use? Okay. We've got past tense, we've got present, we've got, actually we can put it a different way. We've got past and past and past passive. We've got present and present passive. We've got commanding and we've got
Forbidding.
Commanding and we've got forbidding. Those are the fi'ls. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you see a fi'l in the Quran, it's one of these. It's one of these, right? Then you've got the masdar. You've got the ism fa'il.
Yeah.
You've got the ism maf'ul. And you've got the dharf, right? There's lots of other isms than these.
Yeah.
These are just 4 isms.
Yeah.
There are more isms than this. But this is all the fi'l there is.
Yeah.
This is the complete list of fi'l. So if there's a fi'l, it's got to be one of these.
Yeah.
But if it's an ism, it could be one of these 4, and it could be like a bajillion other things.
Yeah.
Okay. But at least these are the ones we know. We know in what Sarf did was it taught us to recognize in different families the same thing over and over again. In different families, we learned the past, we learned the past passive, the present passive, commanding, forbidding, masdar, ism, fa'il, ism, maf'ul, and dharf. Right? Now, based on what we know, even though we don't know 100% yet, based on what we know, here is something I want to show you as a process. Again, I keep telling you, process is more important than anything else, right?
Yeah.
It's not the answers that matter, it's the process that matters. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we're let's do that. Alif lam ra, we're not going to do sarf.
Okay.
It's alif lam ra. Tilka is a pointer, so it's an ism.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about the sarf. Ayatu is a vocabulary word you already memorized. Ayat means signs, right? And ayatul kitabi is a mudaf ilayh, so those are isms. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, later on, I will even have you do the sarf of the word kitab. But for now, I'll leave that alone.
Okay. Well, it's an ism, right? Because of the al.
Right, it's an ism. And Qur'anin is an ism because of the nakira, the tanween.
Yeah.
And then the mubin has the mu in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, when you see a mu in the beginning of an ism, this is an ism, right? And it's got a mu in the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably 8 families because the 8 families have muslimun and muslamun and muallimun and muallamun and mujahidun and mujahadun. So when you see mu in the beginning, it's probably an ism fa'il or an ism maf'ul. So it's either this guy or this guy, right?
Yeah.
But which one of these, if it's got a mu and an e sound, then it's an ism fa'il, and it's got an mu and an a sound, it's an ism maf'ul. Even though you can't exactly match it yet, you will learn that a little later. This is definitely an ism fa'il because it has a mu and an e sound.
Yeah.
Mu and an e sound. Okay. So anyway, but we'll learn about these complicated cases later.
Okay.
But at least we can tell still it's an ism fa'il or an ism maf'ul. That much training you have now. Okay. So you went beyond, oh, it's just an ism. I kind of sort of know it probably is an ism fa'il because of the mu e sound.
Yeah.
Rubama is a harf, so you don't know about that yet. Yawaddu, that's interesting. Yawaddu, it's a present tense.
Yeah, because of the ya.
The ya in the beginning. Okay. But I don't know any family that I learned that matches yawaddu. And this happens with complicated words, which is a later study for us. Let me show you something. Imagine, like we said, yaftahu was the yaf'alu family.
Yeah.
It was yaf'alu family, right? or let's do sami'a.
Mhm.
Sami'a
Yeah.
yasma'u, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine and this is like fa'ila yaf'alu, right?
Mhm.
But what if I wanted to add these letters? Waw, dal, and dal.
Mhm.
Usually it's three different letters, right?
Mhm.
So it's Seen, Meme, and Ain are three different letters.
Yeah.
But in Waw, Dal, and Dal, what am I doing?
Uh,
Waw is
The beginning. It's the fa.
it's the Fa, and Dal is the Ain, and Dal is the Lam again.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was gonna say Wadida,
Mhm.
Wadida,
Yeah.
Yaudadu.
Yo, that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wadida, Yaudadu.
Mhm.
That sounds so lame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That the Arabs thousands of years ago said, "What'd you say, bro? Wadida? No, man. Just there's too many dolls here. Just make them one. Can you just double it up? Just wadda.
What the?
Isn't that easier to say?
Yeah. What the?
So wadda was used to be wadida,
Mhm.
but what are they doing with it?
What the?
Wadda.
Yeah.
And then yaudadu, bro. Who gonna say yaudadu, man? Just make them together. But the problem with making them together
Mhm.
was now you can't say it because the waw has a sukoon on it.
Yeah.
So just change the sukoon, bro. It's okay. Yeah, what do? So in a crazy way, this was actually the Sami'a Yasma'u family.
Oh.
But that's later when I teach you complications.
Mhm.
This complication is called muda'af, when two of the letters are the same.
Mhm.
Crazy stuff happens.
Yeah.
That's okay. So you couldn't tell the sarf, no big deal. Even though you couldn't tell the sarf, at least you could tell it's a present tense.
Mhm.
At least you could also tell it's not one of the big 8 families because it's not enough letters to be from the 8
Mhm.
families,
Yeah.
right? So it's got to be one of the 6 families. Even though it doesn't look exactly like one of the 6 families, something must have happened. Something got chewed up inside this word,
Yeah.
and I kind of showed you behind the
Mhm.
scenes what
Yeah.
chew up happened, right? Alladhina will leave alone kafara, kafaru. This is where the fun begins. This is the training for today. Kafaru.
Mhm.
Okay. Huwa kafara,
Wa kafara.
huma kafara, hum
kafaru.
kafaru. Can you tell this is past tense?
Yeah.
Right?
'Cause the
Kafaru, the waw and the alif in the end.
Mhm.
So this is a past tense.
Yeah.
When you want to tell the sarf of a word, this
Mhm.
is really important, everybody. When you want to tell the sarf of a word, first you got to figure out which one of these is it. This list,
Yeah.
which one of these is it?
Mhm.
First job.
Yeah.
Step 1. Is it past? Past passive. Present. Present passive. Command. Forbid. Masdar. Ism fa'il. Ism maf'ul. Or dharf.
Mhm.
Kafaru we quickly identified as a past tense.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah. Mhm.
Now each one of these is actually a chart.
Oh, okay.
Past tense is huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nas- that's a chart.
Yeah.
Present tense is huwa yansuru, huma yansurani, hum yansuruna, is a chart.
Mhm.
Past passive is huwa nusira, huma nusira, hum nusiru. Same chart, just ui sounds.
Yeah.
Present passive is huwa yunsaru, huma yunsarani, hum yunsaruna. Same chart, just different sounds.
Yeah.
Commanding and forbidden, we didn't really do a chart for them. We will. The masdar is basically ism an in ani aini aini. Ism fa'il and ism maf'ul are the Muslim chart. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, etc. So all of these are what? Charts.
Charts. Yeah.
Now in every chart, if you can imagine a chart, usually our charts are 3 cells
Mhm.
and then rows underneath.
Yeah.
3 columns and rows underneath, right?
Mhm.
And the first word is on the top right.
Mhm.
Always, right?
Yeah.
The top right is the huwa version or the singular version,
Mhm.
right? If it's an ism, it's muslimun. That's the first word on the
Yeah.
top right.
Mhm.
If it's past tense, it's huwa nasara is the top right.
Okay.
And if it's present tense, it's huwa yansuru is the top right,
Mhm.
right? That's the first word.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find a word like kafaru in the Quran, right?
Mhm.
That's not the top right.
Yeah.
That's huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum
Nasaru.
nasaru.
Mhm.
If you want to find its sarf, a good practice is to first take this word and in your head convert it to the top right.
Mm.
To take it back to the huwa version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So how would you take kafaru to the huwa version?
Wa kafara.
Right. Kafara. Now let's write that down for a moment. Kafara. Mariam, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay. Now we've got aslama, allama, etc., etc. None of those match because there are too many letters.
Yeah.
Kafara is how many letters?
3.
When you have 3 basic letters, it's got to be the small families.
Yeah.
It's got to be this. So Gafaru has to be from the small families.
Small.
Okay. Now, the small families were Nasara, Fataha, Daraba, Sami'a, Hasiba, Karuma.
It looks like to match every single one, except the last 2.
It does.
Last 3.
So it looks like it matches 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then these 3 doesn't match,
Mhm.
right? Because it's not Kafira
Yeah.
and it's not Kafura. So these 3 are gone. It could match one of these 3.
Mhm.
That's how far as you can get. You can't get further than that. At your level, you cannot get further than that.
Okay.
But I'm going to show you a trick
Mhm.
because I'm so cool
Yeah.
and because we have the internet.
Mhm.
How if you come across a past tense and it could be this one, this one, this one, or this one.
Yeah.
Yeah? And I don't know which one.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go on the internet. I'm going to open up a new tab and I'm going to go to arrowtools.com.
Oh, okay.
Arrow Tools, not Arrow Fools.
Error 2.
Arrow Tools.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you go to Word,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And you probably want to enable Arabic keyboard on your computers.
Okay.
And you're going to type in the word. So what I typed in is this word. Let me show you. What I'm going to type in there is this word without harakas. Because I don't know if it's yakfaru,
Mhm.
yakfuru, or yakfiru. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to type this word up without harakas.
Yeah.
Where am I going to go? Error Tools.
Error 2.
Okay. When I go to Error Tools, wow, I'm really happy that they put this here because it says yakfiru, which is wrong.
It is?
Yeah, it's yakfuru.
Fix
So-
your thing, boys.
So
There we
that's
go.
why technology fails. Now I got to show you how to use the dictionary. Normally this works. There's another dictionary called Al-Ma'ani. Let's try them. But they're harder to use. I wanted to start you off on a basic one. Almaani.com. I'll send you the link. And again, I type in
I don't think
Arabic.
it's with harakas.
Yeah, no harakas. But they'll give you harakas when I type this word in. See, that's the thing. This is so much writing and it's so hard to read for you at this level. But in the blue, it says kafara.
Mhm.
Ah! Where I go did.
Mhm.
Okay. It says kafara. And then he didn't give you all the harakas, but what did he do? Yak, fu. And they don't have to put a harak on the last one because they're like, you're an Arabic student, you know the present tense is supposed to be normal. So it's supposed to be yakfuru.
Yeah.
And then remember I told you you can't guess what the masdar is going to be?
Mhm.
So here,
Kufran.
kufran and kufuran and kufranan. Fahuwa kafirun, which is what you learned the ism fa'il.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, and maf'ul. Ism maf'ul is makfurun.
Makfurun.
What?
This is a cool app.
So this is on almaani.com. It's a lot of Arabic you have to kind of get through,
Mhm.
but you will start kind of noticing the answers little tiny bit. You don't have to do that, but if you're, those of you that are like, I don't know what family it is, please go to almaani.com. Error Tools, most of the time it works, right?
Yeah.
But we found that they're not good with their kufr. Okay. Who knows? There might even be a family yakfiru. Maybe there is. And the Quran doesn't use it, but Arabs do. That's also possible. Law kanu muslimina. So kanu is a complicated one. We'll leave that alone. But look at muslimina. It's something you memorize.
Yeah.
Muslimuna, muslimina, muslimina.
Yeah.
But that's not the top right of the chart,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
from this word, I want you to imagine what was the first word, the top right of this chart. What was it?
Muslim.
What haraka?
Oh, wait, Muslimun.
Muslimun.
Yeah.
Aslama yuslimu islaman fahuwa.
Muslimun.
That's why you can tell this is an ism fa'il
That's a fact.
from the aslama family.
Yeah.
To match it, you first got to take it to the top right of the chart, the singular version where we started. Then you can see if you can find a match with it. Okay?
Mhm.
This is another hard one, but this is an old bit of practice, but something that'll help you. I want to know what kind of word this is. Is this an ism, a past tense, a present tense, or a command? Remember those four? Ism, past tense, present tense, or command.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it can't be an ism.
Why not? You're
Why
right.
not?
You're right, but why not?
Because of the sukun.
Yeah, sukoons can't be
Yeah.
isms.
Because you can't find the 4 properties.
That's
of it.
gone. Okay, past tense.
I've never heard of a word like hum with the.
No, the home is the attached pronoun. We're not concerned with
oh.
home. Home,
That-
we already know it's a pronoun. It's an
Yeah.
ism.
Mhm.
It's the dhar part
Oh.
that I'm concerned with.
It's not past.
Yeah,
Yes.
because there's no past tense that ends with a sukoon like that. The only sukoon one is nasarat.
Yeah.
That's not a match. So it's not a past tense. Present tense?
No.
How do you tell a present tense? They start with what?
Yansuru.
Yant.
Yant. Yeah.
Is this a yant?
No.
No.
So it's not a present tense either.
So
What's
must
left?
be Command. Or
It's a
forbidding.
command. It's a command.
Oh, okay.
Well, forbidding will have to have a la and a ta,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So it's a command.
Okay.
Means leave,
Leave.
leave, abandon,
Mm.
and abandon who? Home. Who's home?
You.
Really?
Oh wait, no.
Both of them.
Both of them.
What does hua mean?
Who he?
What does huma mean?
Oh, leave them.
Oh, they.
Yeah.
So what? Say this
Leave
in English
them.
now. Leave them.
Leave them alone.
Leave them. This is look what Allah says. Alif Lam Ra. Those are the ayat, the miraculous signs of the book, and a Quran, which makes things clear. Quran Mubin, Mawsuf Sifat. This a Quran that makes things clear, a clarifying Quran. Rubbama, maybe, perhaps. Yawaddu alladhina kafaru. Yawaddu means they would love.
Mm.
Maybe they would love. Who would love? Alladhina kafaru, those who have disbelieved.
Mm.
Maybe those who have disbelieved would love that law kanu muslimin, that they had been Muslim.
Mm.
That they had been, if only they had been Muslim. Meaning Allah is saying a day of judgment is coming,
Mhm.
and they're going to be wishing that they had been
Muslim.
Muslim. So for now, dharhum,
Leave them.
leave them.
Mm-hmm.
يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل فسوف يعلمون. Let's look at يأكلوا. يأكلوا. Notice the present tense ya.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a easy giveaway that it's a
Yeah.
present tense.
Yeah.
But ya beginning usually comes with una ending.
Yeah.
Ya beginning with una
Una
ending. But this is ya beginning with oo ending. Is there ever such a case where the noon is taken away?
Yeah.
When it becomes light or
Lightest.
This is actually a case of lightest that you haven't studied yet. You studied a word becomes lightest when it has an in, lam, lamma, wal, fali. But there are other reasons to make it lightest also, which you haven't yet covered. This is one of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is yakuluna really.
Mm-hmm.
Yakuluna, ya beginning, una ending, which means they eat.
They eat.
Okay? Leave them alone so they eat.
And
Okay?
Mhm.
Now, before we go to that,
Yeah.
this is the first top word in the chart, or is this later on? Like, is this huwa yansuru, or is this later on?
later.
I want to take it back to the huwa version
Mm.
if I want to find out itself.
Yeah.
So what do I do?
So huwa yansuru, huwa yakulu.
Huwa
Yakulu.
ya'kulu. Okay, good. Huwa ya'kulu. Good. Which is like yansuru.
Suru. Yeah.
And it's also like yakrumu.
Yakrumu.
Yakrumu. Those are the two.
And yakfuru.
Well, the two families. We learned
Oh,
6
yeah.
families, right? Nasara, Fataha, Daraba, Sami'a, Hasiba, Karuma.
Yeah.
Of them, the only ones that match Ya'kulu are Yansuru and Yakrumu.
Yeah.
Let me make your life a little bit easier. It happens 10% of the time. Yakrumu,
10%.
10%. 90% of the time, if you see a match with Yansuru,
Mhm.
it's Yansuru.
Yansuru.
Okay, so go with 90%, get it wrong once in a while, and that's okay. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually Akala
Akala.
Ya
Yakilu.
Ya'kulu. The
Yakulu.
Quran's already giving you the answer for that part.
Oh, yeah.
Ya'kulu.
Mhm.
Because Quran said Ya'kulu,
Yeah.
so that was already solved.
Mhm.
It's the past tense we didn't know,
Yeah.
but it's going to be like Nasara, so Akala.
Mhm.
Okay. Now the fun continues. This is the last one we'll do. Wa yatamatta'u. Wa yatamatta'u. Wa means and.
And yeah.
Now the ya beginning and the u at the end is kind of like the ya beginning here and the u here, which is probably short for ya beginning and una ending,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So it's yatamatta'una,
Mhm.
right? I heard a disturbance in the force. Jawad, is everything okay?
It wasn't on my end.
Okay. All right. When I hear a little bit, because when you unmute, then there's a little bit of a disturbance in the force, and then I'm like, oh yeah. So okay, maybe there's a question. So
Force sense.
yatamatta'una was the original, right? So it
Yeah.
became the lightest version of it for reasons you don't know yet.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Mhm.
how do I take it back, Maryam? If this is yatamatta'una,
يتمتعوا.
give it 5. Give her a hug. You're killing it today, Maryam. What did you eat for breakfast? It did two
I had
things.
eggs.
It did two things. It made you yawn, and it activated your brain in ways that I'm very impressed with.
Yeah.
Continue eating eggs. Were they duck eggs? Were they a special
No,
kind
they
of?
were just fried eggs.
They were
Did you fry them yourself?
Yes.
They were
Skills.
non-caged eggs.
Speaking of which, I gotta tell you a frying story. I didn't. I'm allergic to certain things.
Yeah.
Cooking was one of them.
Really?
So this is true story.
Mhm.
When my parents left the United States, I was in college and working by myself, and I was living in a basement in New York, and I
Okay.
rented a basement from a family, and I used to share it with my roommate Atif, who's probably watching. Is going to hate me telling this story, but anyway, it's okay. You can't do anything to me. You're in New York. You're in quarantine.
Oh, you in New York?
Oh, yeah, he said, stay safe. Okay, so anyway, and I'm like, I didn't know how microwaves work exactly. So I thought, when you boil an egg, you just have to heat it. Why do you need to waste time with water and stove it? So I bought eggs and put the egg in the microwave. And the explosion was remarkable. It was remarkable. That was my first microwave experience. But then I was like, no, but microwaves you should be able to use them for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, an old friend of mine, you know what he used to call me? Older fellow. He's like 70 years old. He goes, Nouman, you know what you are? I was like, what? He said, you're a stupid genius. That's what he used to call me. So let me tell you a stupid genius story. I was getting late for work, and my dryer wasn't working, and my socks were in the laundry machine. Right? And it's freezing cold outside. So I can't leave without socks, and I can't go with wet socks because I will die. I need a quick way of drying my socks. So first you do the whole Pakistan thing, right? You do like the thing, right? So I do the thing, and that only gets you so far. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to switch, Johan. I don't know how to get on the screen. Maybe this should be censored. Okay, so first I do this. That's not enough. Then I decide they're not going to hear upstairs. They're still sleeping because I'm leaving early.
Yeah.
So I do the other Pakistan thing. You take the socks and you slam them on the wall really hard, right? It's like sock wash splatter on the wall.
Yeah.
But that's still not enough, and I'm getting late. So I was like, I'm just gonna put them in the microwave. 90 seconds, just 90 seconds. It should be okay. So I put my wet socks in the microwave for 90 seconds, and they went on fire. And the fire alarm went off, and the sprinklers came on, and the fire department came, and I missed my day of work, and the fire guys. I mean, I put the fire out, but they're like, "What did you burn in here?" And then they go into the microwave because I had thrown it away. It was embarrassing, right? So I threw the stuff away. But by the time they got there, they still saw shards of sock on the sides of the microwave. They're like, they just gave me this look of disappointment that I've lived with ever since. So the fact that you can fry eggs I'm very proud of you. Keep it up. I do cook now, but this is
I have a funny story with ramen. So my mom, I still love ramen, but my mom never used to let me cook on the pan or the oven thing. So my genius idea: get a plastic bowl, put the ramen in, put the water in, put the powder in, put it in the microwave. And this I think was a day before Eid, and I wasn't old enough to fast. I was 6. I put it in the microwave. I put it on for 3 minutes. It started burning in there, right?
Yeah.
And then I was upstairs and this is happening. I smell smoke. My dad looks at me. He runs downstairs.
He looks at you first. He's like, you did this.
And then he runs downstairs, gets like a little thing to take the thing out, right? He takes it outside and just looks at me with a disappointed look.
There's a hole in it, right?
Yeah,
too?
there's a hole in the
plastic
thing.
burned.
Microwaves. Stay away from them. Surf is better than microwaves.
Yeah.
Is the conclusion of
Myself,
the
I'll put
story.
tinfoil in the microwave once.
But all of this started with Maryam dropping the right answer like that because of
Yeah.
her egg breakfast. Yatamatta'u.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it's a present tense, which it is, I expect you now to comfortably get to the conclusion that this is a present tense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Which family does it belong to? Well, I've got a lot of family. It can't be a small family.
It has to be a big
The
family.
small families are like yansuru. That's not enough letters.
Mm-hmm.
Yatamatta'u has a lot of letters, and it seems to have a couple of ta situations.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any ta families that have like too much of a ta?
اقترب
تعلم.
Okay, so try ta'allama. Ta'allama has a ta and a shadda, right?
Mhm.
So this has a ta and a shadda. So what's the present tense of ta'allama?
تعلم يتعلم.
Yata'allam. Because I mean, you don't have to do the whole family. If you looked at a present tense, you should try to match it to the present tense.
Yeah.
If this was an ism fa'il, you should try to compare it to the ism fa'il. No
Mhm.
point of reciting the entire family and then wait, where am I? Right? You got to stop at the right stop.
Mhm.
So yata'atta'u is a present tense. Yata'allamu is a present. Does it match perfectly?
Yes.
Yeah. So yatamatta'u is a present tense from the ta'allama family.
Mhm.
Therefore, its sarf, that's going to be the later step, is going to be, because I know the sarf of ta'allama,
Mhm.
I know the sarf of tamatta'a. Tamatta'a yatamatta'u tamattu'an fahuwa mutamatti'un tumutti'a yatamatta'u tamattu'an fahuwa mutamatta'un al-amru minhu tamatta' wa nahyu anhu la tatamatta' wa dharfu minhu mutamatta'un. That's later. But right now, at least we recognize the family. At least we figured out it's from the ta'allama family. And that's the process you're going to start engaging in little by little.
Yeah.
You see this word, yulhihim, the him is a pronoun.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let that go. I'm left with what word? Yulhi. Even if I can't figure it out, there's
Mhm.
one thing very clear in it.
Yeah.
It started with a U.
Oh, yeah.
It started with what?
A U.
A U. I know 14 families.
Mhm.
The small families don't start with a U.
Yeah.
Nasara, yansuru,
Suru.
yaftahu, yadribu,
Mhm.
yahsibu, yakru. They're all ya.
Yeah.
Okay. In the 8 big families, yastaghfiru, yaqtaribu, yanqalibu, yata'allamu, yatasa'alu. None of those start with a U. But
Yeah.
the first 3 families, aslama what?
Yuslimu.
Yuslimu, allama, yu'allimu,
Yu'allimu.
jahada.
Yujahidu.
I don't know everything, but I know it's one of those 3 families, man. It's one of because it's a U there. Look at it. Look.
Yujahidu.
No, because the yujahid has to have an alif in it.
Oh yeah. Yujahidu.
Right. And yu'allimu has to have a shadda in it.
So it's asam.
It's aslama family. Even though it's not a perfect match,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see why it is a perfect match when you learn more complicated stuff. But
Yeah.
even at the basic level, you can start seeing, man, this is aslama family for sure. Okay.
Mhm.
Now look at lastly, ya'lamuna.
Mm-hmm.
Ya'lamuna.
Yeah.
If I want to figure out its sarf, I should take it to the top of the chart first.
Yeah.
So from ya'lamuna, where should I take it?
Ya'lamuna.
يعملوا.
Ya'la.
Oh, يعلموا.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's write that down. You're right. On a roll. And give him that look. That's okay. Ya'lamu. And I like how he avoided looking at you when you did that. He's like, I pretend. I'm not going to. No. Ya'lamu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is definitely not the first 3 big families.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because aslama yuslimu yusli.
See, all those families have a U.
Yeah.
It cannot be the ta families
Mm-hmm.
because there's not enough ta's here. There's no
Yeah.
ta's here.
Yeah.
It cannot be the iqtaraba, inqalaba, there's not enough letters.
Yeah.
It's got to be one of the 6 small families.
Families.
Okay, so now in the 6 small families, I've got yansuru,
Yansuru.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yaftahu,
Yaftahu.
yadribu, yasma'u. Because I'm comparing present tense,
Mhm.
so I should write the present tenses from those families.
Yeah.
I'm not going to write sami'a
Mhm.
because I'm not comparing it to sami'a. I'm comparing it to the present
See
tense.
2 matches so far.
And yakrumu. Maryam, do you also see 2 matches so far?
Yes.
You should. Which ones?
يفتحوا and يسمعوا. That's
Good.
the first.
Yaftahu and yasma'u. And it could go either way.
Yeah.
Right? So let's try Arafuls again. Now the way I'm going to try it, because that time it was Arafuls. I'll get rid of yansuru. I'll get rid of yadribu. I'll get rid of
Yeah.
yakrumu. So it could either be fataha, like yaftahu,
Mhm.
or it could be sami'a, like
Yeah.
yasma'u. right? But I don't know which one. So I'm going to go to the dictionary and put this there
Yeah.
without any harakas
Mm.
and see if the dictionary can put harakas there for me.
Yeah.
And then I can know which family this came from. Okay. So let's go to the more reliable al-ma'ani, the big one, right? And I'm going to put Ain Lam Mim.
How do you know which one's the ayn, Ustad?
On the keyboard?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because I'm spiritual. This is okay. What does it say? Read it.
Which one? Alim
No, there's no shadda.
علم
Ali
أو عالي
Alima.
علم
Alima.
Alima.
So over and over again. Alima, alima, alima. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and look at that. Alima, ya'lamu. They didn't put the last haraka because they expect you to know that.
Yeah.
And then they gave you the masdar too because the masdars are unpredictable.
Yeah.
So alima ya'lamu ilman fahuwa.
فهو عال
No, so why are we learning
Alima.
fahuwa? What's the point of it?
فهو
Does it feel good to go to an Arab resource, Arabic resource, and find the same fahuwa you've been learning?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So,
فهو
and
عالم.
al-ism maf'ul. Remember, maf'ul sounds like maf'ul?
Yeah.
Ma'lumun.
معلوم.
So good. So good. You like, I already knew that.
Yeah.
But you know Arabic on Facebook, baby. So, so alima. Okay, come back. Is this from the Fataha family or the Sami'a family? We read alima, right?
Yeah.
Which one is it?
So
So I'm gonna put harakas here now. Is it like Fataha or is it like Sami'a?
سميع
It's Sami'a.
yeah.
علم يعلم علما فهو عالم علم يعلم علما فهو معلوم الأمر منه اعلم والنهي عنه لا تعلم الظرف منه معلم ومعلم ومعلمة. But that's later. At least right now it's recognition.
Yeah.
The process and the pain of going through recognition. The surah you guys are working on is إذا جاءك المنافقون. Yeah?
Yeah.
So in your write-up, I didn't do ja'a, the sarf of ja'a. I gave you al-munafiqun, I gave you the sarf of it.
Yeah.
Read up on that and they'll make more sense to you now. Now, ja'a is how many letters?
Two.
No, it's not
Three.
two.
Three.
It's 3 letters,
Yeah.
which means it cannot be big family.
Yeah. It can be only the
Small
small
family.
The small families.
6.
Okay? Ja'a can only be 6 small families. It's irregular because there's an alif in the middle.
Yeah.
We're used to seeing nasara, 3 distinct harakas,
Yeah.
right? Or daraba, like that. Daraba. But this one is what? It's not.
جاء
It was going to be jaya'a, but the Arab said that just sounds lame.
Yeah.
So they took the ya and said, well, the ya is a vowel. Let's put it a different vowel there that sounds cooler. So they made a ja'a. Okay. But anyway, at least you know it's from the 6 small families.
Yeah.
Which one of those 6? That's later.
Okay.
But we know something.
Yeah.
The goal in my course is not to know everything at once. My goal is, okay, whatever little I know, how do I apply it? Then I know a little more, then how do I apply it? But the little you know will not give you 100% of the answers.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll give you 30% more, 40% more, 50% more. We're working our way up to 100%.
Yeah.
Okay?
Inshallah.
So inshallah. So that's kind of the goal that we're trying to accomplish. All right, so what I'd like for you guys to do is on your own, this is ayah number 2 of Surah Al-Munafiqun. Let's converge our efforts on the surah.
اتخذوا.
Yeah, اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله, right? Let's look at that ayah and let me give you an assignment from it. Okay. Okay. I want to see if you can guess. You don't have to get 100%, but guess what family this word is from. اتخذوا.
It can't be a small family because it has to.
Well, so yeah. Even before you do the family business, the first thing is, what am I looking at? Am I looking at past tense, past passive, present passive? Or is it even before that? Is it ism, fi'l, or harf? Then if it's a fi'l, which kind of fi'l?
Yeah.
Then you can try to match a family. Okay.
So an ism.
And then let's try to do saddu. Let's not just do ya'malun. Just do these 2 words.
Okay.
اتخذوا and يعملون. That's all I want. See if you can figure out using a process what sarf these words are. Even if you don't get the full answer, can you narrow it down? Can you give me that much? Like,
Okay.
you know how in GPS you can track the exact location or you can track the proximity,
Yeah.
right? Oh, it's within this area,
Yeah.
right? If you can get within the area, I'm happy.
Okay.
That's actually what I want right now. I can't expect you to get the exact pinpoint location, but at least you're in the same continent.
Yeah.
You're not on the Atlantic Ocean somewhere,
Yeah.
right? So, well, if we can do that, then we've made the right kind of progress. All right, keep up the good work. Jawad, if you can update the document with all 6 families, the sarf of them. I will say that over the next course of this intensive, by the end of this intensive, I would like you to have memorized all 14 families. But I will test you on your memorization at the very, very end. So you should be working on that slowly on your own.
Yeah.
If you're not able to do that during this intensive, not a big deal. Set that as your goal. If you're not able to set that as your goal, then give yourselves a 10-day extension beyond that. Okay, but your first target should be by the end of this intensive, which is another week from now.
Yeah.
A week from now means you probably have to work on trying to memorize one family a day.
Yeah.
And comfortably you'll be able to do the whole all of the families, right? Just one family a day. But if that's too much, then do one family every 2 days. But whatever you feel less pressure with, the whole idea that you have to prove something to me, let that go. You don't have to prove anything to me. You have to prove something to yourself. And you have to know honestly about yourself what you're able to do and not able to do. If you lie to yourself and say, I cannot do it, because that's lying to yourself, then I can't help you. And if you are overconfident and then say, I'm going to do everything in the last 20 minutes, and then you're not able to do it, and then say, I guess I'm not able to do it. Yeah. And you go too much and then you burn out.
Yeah.
Be aware of yourself, what you're capable of, how much you can handle. That's why I'm not putting pressure on the memorization part. We're making great progress on sarf recognition. It's starting to evolve. Eventually, it'll be to the point where every word, we're going to stop and look at the sarf of it and figure out what's going on with that word from the point of view of sarf. Okay? Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam, guys. Have a great day and night. Yeah, they're probably in the parking lot.